What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the McFarlane Toys Injustice 2, The Flash. And so here we have the McFarlane Injustice 2 Flash posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. The Flash does come with 3 different lightning effects. We do get one that does clip onto either side of his arms. We do get a smaller lightning effect which does clip onto either his legs or his arms. And then finally we do get a lightning ball effect piece which does look like he is throwing it. His final accessory is of course the DC McFarlane Multiverse display base. Other than that, Flash doesn't come with anything else, so let's actually take a look at his details. And so here we have a closer look at the McFarlane Injustice Flash, and oh, I almost dropped the figure, but anyway, taking a look at the costume, there's things to like about the costume and things to not like exactly. If you're a fan of this costume design, by all means like it. I just find some things strange, for one thing. For starters, I don't think there's enough gold on his costume. This figure is mostly just red. Now don't get me wrong, there's a lot of contrasting textures here and it does look really nice. So we do have some smooth parts right here. As you can see, they look really nice, especially right here on his neck. Really do like the face sculpt. The face sculpt is one of my favorite things about this figure. This is a really good Flash head sculpt and I really do like it. If you're using this as an Elseworld Flash, it actually does work. I love these little lightning wings that he has right here. And I really love the style of Flash's mask. It's one of the better masks in my honest opinion. Looks really, really good. They did a really good job capturing the look of Flash's mask here. And I really do like the added lightning effects right here on his helmet or mask, whatever you want to call it. But it does appear like they're a little bit off-centered, which doesn't really bother me because I'm not going to be seeing the back of the figure that often, but it is something to note. But yeah, it does look good and I really do like this head sculpt. Now, moving on to the costume. I'm under the impression that Flash has never had a good Injustice costume. I never cared for his regime or his insurgency costume in Injustice Gods Among Us, and I don't care for his Injustice 2 costume. It's not a bad costume, it's just something about it I just don't like. Now, let's actually take a look at it. You can see he does have some armor right here. It's like light armor, as you would see on the Flash TV show where it looks like fabric. We do have a really big lightning symbol right here, so I do like that. And I really love the way it's painted. It's a really, really good job. Now, having a look at the rest of his costume, you can see he does have some gold accents going onto the back, which I really do like the back of the figure. It looks really interesting. There's a lot of detailing going on it. Again, a lot of texturing that you can see. We have some smooth texturing here, some almost like basketball texture right here. So we have some more fabric texture right there. We have these little lines, these panel lines that are painted gold, and we have the lightning bolt right here that's also done well. We have some more red panel lining there. So there's a lot of nice, interesting textures going on with the Flash, and I really do love when costumes have different textures. It just adds so much more to the figure. Especially right here, you can see he has almost, have you guys seen those hexagon elbow pads? That's kind of what this reminds me of. It's not a bad look. It actually does add a little something to the costume. And from the waist up, including the arms, I think this costume looks fine. It's perfectly acceptable as a Flash costume. The amount of gold to red on it looks fantastic. The reds look good. The gold pipeline also looks really nice, and I do love the fact that he does have these really interesting gloves where you see some almost like armor plates right here on his knuckles, because if he's going to punch somebody, might as well knock him out too. And you can see a little bit more detailing right here. Looks like there's a strap for his glove. So, like I said, from the waist up, including the arms, I think this is a really good Flash costume. It's from the waist down that it starts getting a little, too much for me. And too little at the same time. Okay, for starters, he's missing the Flash belt. Now, you can argue that he has the gold trim right here. Okay, the gold trim does look nice. I'll give it that, but there's just so much red on his costume. There's really nothing that breaks it up right here in the middle of the plane. I I don't know, there's just something about a red jumpsuit that doesn't have any division between the top and bottom that looks odd to me. Don't get me wrong, red is my favorite color, but there's just something about this costume that looks weird without something breaking up the plane. Now, it does have a really good detailing going throughout it. As you can see, we have some more lightning. They're not really lightning effects, but we do have some lightning patterns going throughout his costume. We have some more different texturing right here from the back and the front of his legs. We have some more of that hexagon panels right there. Some more of the... Did I call this the basketball weave or the Kevlar weave? I forgot what I called this. I do apologize about that. But then we get to his boots, and his boots continue that onesie look. It looks like he's wearing a onesie. In all honesty, I kind of wish that his boots, or whatever he would consider his boots, were gold. And it's really hard to find a line that would have made the boots. As you can see, these panel lines just go all the way around, so there's really no way to like divide this into gold. So if they had... It's not a knock against the figure. McFarlane did a really good job capturing the source material. It's just that this particular costume of the Flash, I'm not a fan of. There's just too much red. He does have the little wings right here on his feet, and I really do like the fact that they're gold. And you can see it does a really good job breaking it up, but a little more breakup in the colors would have been really nice, at least in my honest opinion. Again, if you like this costume, you like this costume, and there's nothing wrong with liking it. I just personally find it a little bit uninteresting, uninspired, just because it's just a red jumpsuit with some gold trim here and there. The difference in texturing is really nice, but if this had been done in different shades of red, I think that would make it look a little bit better. Like if the leathery part of his costume was a darker red, this was a brighter red, and then this was an in-between, I think that would look really cool. But again, that's just me, and it's not a knock against McFarlane. It's just the design of the character from the game, so can't really knock McFarlane too much about that. But anyway, that's the Flash for you guys. So what we're going to do now is get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Flash posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Flash posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we do have Flash posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have the Injustice 2 Flash posed next to a McFarlane Rebirth Flash and a McFarlane Injustice 2 Gorilla Grodd. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to Flash's articulation. Now, Flash does have the standard 22-point articulation that McFarlane has been implementing on their DC Multiverse figures. We do have a double ball joint here in the head, and it does allow him to look up quite a bit. I really do like the amount of movement he has on his head. He also can look down a fair bit. I would have liked it if he could look down just a little bit more, but he can look down enough. He does have really nice head pivots, so we get a lot of attitude with this figure, so I do like that. His arms are on ball sockets going into the torso, so those do pivot forward and back, up and down, and that does work normally. Arms do go out to the side, all the way horizontal, or you can raise them just a little bit higher with that ball joint, and that's why I kind of like ball joints here in the shoulder. We get much better movement than what we normally would. He does go all the way around, no problem. We have a really tight bicep swivel. Oh, that thing is just so tight, but it does work, and it doesn't feel like it's going to break. It just feels really tight. We do get double bend in his elbow. As you can see, he does go all the way back, touching the back of his head. That's no problem for the Flash. We have a ball hinge here at the wrist, so it does have in and out movement, which works pretty good, and you can rotate that to have up and down movement, and of course it does rotate on that peg. We do have a double ball joint here in the torso. However, I actually have him leaning forward as far as he can go on that top joint. With the bottom joint, that's about it. That's as far as he leans forward. That's not really good, and something McFarlane really needs to start improving on. Does lean back quite a bit. I don't know why they get better backwards lean than forwards lean, but anyway, he can tilt to the side, and with both joints that works fine. Does rotate at the top joint as well as at the waist. Legs do kick forward. Ooh, quite a bit, a little bit better than 90 degrees, so I do like that. They kick back really nicely. Out to the side, no problem, does the splits perfectly. He does have somewhat of a thigh swivel. It's a little bit minor, but it does move a little bit, so it is good for slight adjustment posing. He does have double bend here at the knee, so he can go all the way back and kick his own flash butt. Getting that straightened out. That's a really stiff joint here, so do be careful bending his knees. You might have to heat those up first. Then we do get another ball hinge here at the ankle, so those do go forward and back. You can rotate that to have an in and out hinge, giving us a slight rocker ankle. Well, not a slight rocker ankle, but a true rocker ankle, so I do like that. We do have rotation here at his foot and at the ankle, and then of course we have a very generous toe hinge. So overall flash here, it has superb articulation, and I really do like it. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get the flash posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the McFarlane TC Multiverse Injustice 2 flash posed for my final thoughts. Overall, this isn't really a bad figure. I really do like the way this flash came out. I am glad that McFarlane learned their lesson from their first flash, that we don't want peg holes throughout the figure just to have a lightning attachment to them. Really glad that the lightning just clips onto them and you can remove it without there being peg ports into the figure. Not that it takes away from the figure. I think this is a much cleaner look. And there are things to like about this figure. It's not my favorite costume that the Flash has worn. Like I said, I honestly don't think Flash has ever had a really good Injustice costume other than alternate costumes. It's just my personal take on the character. If you like the Flash's costumes in Injustice, be my guest and enjoy them to your heart's content. Me, I think they can do a lot better, especially seeing as how there's so much going on this figure. Some color contrast would be really nice, especially with some darker reds, some lighter reds, some different colored shoes. Maybe they could be gold. I don't know. That's just my honest opinion. But this is still a really nice figure. So I do really recommend the Injustice 2 Flash if you're a fan of the Flash Injustice 2 or just want a really interesting Flash figure in your collection. If you are a fan of the Rebirth costume and don't feel you need this figure, I can understand why you would pass on it. However, this is still an impressive figure to like. One thing that I will say is that some people might be a little bit turned off by his proportions, and I can honestly see that. His legs do seem really long, his torso seems really stocky and broad. If they had just made his torso a little bit leaner, I think his proportions would look a little bit better, but that's not taking away from the figure. He's still really impressive. If you are looking for the McFarlane Injustice 2 style Flash, he is only available at Target at the time of making this video. Now, he is just a timed exclusive, so if you are unable to find him at Target or you don't have a Target in your area, never fear, because he will be available on places like Amazon and Walmart. So if you are really interested in this figure, check him out on Target.com, to your local Target, or if you're patient enough, you can find him at Walmart later down the road. So with that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other McFarlane DC Multiverse videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you'd like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.